This demonstration simply explains what happens when a case is converted from active mode to maintenance mode before the case is complete. This particular case was a problem with rip-off report, and the anticipated completion date was sometime around April 20th, so sometime around here. And if you look, you can see the trajectory. The problem was in position 1 when we first started the case, and we had a very good trajectory. In fact, if the trajectory had continued at that rate, we would have been finished after only 1 month instead of 2. But it then leveled off a little, not leveled, but it slowed down a little bit, which is normally the case. And you'll notice that at March 16th, it was down to position 6. So the curve that we had, we probably would have been just about on time to push this result off page 1, although it may have gone a little bit long. Sometimes we can get the cases done quicker, and sometimes longer, sometimes never at all. Never at all is very rare. It's maybe 10% of the time. But we usually know long before the case gets too old if we're going to have problems. So what happened is on the 16th of March, the client, because of cash flow problems, instructed us to convert to maintenance mode. Now, maintenance mode is a little bit less than 50% of the cost of active mode. But maintenance mode simply maintains the results or endeavors to maintain the results. So that is evidenced by this flat trajectory, generally flat trajectory that you can see here after March 16th. Had the client stayed on active mode, it would have continued to drop. You can see there was a drop here, which is a result of our work. So the trajectory from where it started to here, if we continued that down, once again, somewhere in the last part of April, we would have hopefully had it off page 1. So what happened is, from the billing perspective, so the way the billing works is this case was pretty expensive because the result, the rip-off report, was so high. We had so much work to do. It was $400 a week, which is a lot of money for individuals, but for businesses that are losing a lot of clients because of the problem, it's the cost of doing business, and it's actually can be a very good return on investment if you can clear out page 1. So these were weekly fees of $400 a week, and then when we hit March 16th, this is where it was converted to monthly. So these two payments, even though they're also $400, those two payments represent a full month of $800. So maintenance is calculated at the equivalent of 2 weeks of active is charged once a month. So instead of $400 a week, 4.6 weeks or however many there are in a month, it's two payments. Well, it's usually one payment of 800, but this particular case was split into two monthly payments, half monthly payments of 400. And that line, when it converted to maintenance, is where the trajectory of rip-off report began to flat. So what needs to be understood here is what is active mode, what is maintenance mode. Active mode, we continually attempt to persuade Google that positive or neutral results are more important than the negative result, which was tracked here. So at this point, for example, when it was up the top of Google, the results that were underneath are represented by these lines. These were positive results, and we persuaded Google that those positive results were more important, and then that's why it dropped down to these positions, because we moved up the positives in these slots above it. Maintenance mode. Now, the way we do this is a combination of permanent backlinks to these positive material, as well as temporary leased backlinks. The leased backlinks are the most effective. They're expensive for us. They're very real hard costs associated with each case, but they are paid month by month, and they help escalate and elevate these positives. When we go into maintenance mode, everything is left in place. The permanent links, of course, stay in place because they're permanent, but the leased links that we have put in place in order to elevate these results, they also stay in place perpetually as long as the maintenance mode is paid, but we don't add any extra new links. Extra new links only come while you're in active mode. So had the client been able to afford it, and this trajectory had have continued down, so rip-off report was on page 2, down here somewhere, at that point, had we converted to maintenance mode, we would have expected to see a flat trajectory thereafter when it's in position 12, 13, 14, wherever it might be. Maintenance mode doesn't guarantee that the result will not move back up again, and it doesn't promise to make it drop further. both of those things can happen, and that's because we are at Google's mercy when Google changes something in its algorithm. So if a maintenance mode case that's in position, say 13 on page 2 on average, were to spike back up to, say, position 8, we would at that point have to convert back to to active mode in order to start pushing it back down again because of whatever Google did. So that's it in a nutshell, the difference between the two. We don't want people spending more money than they need to. So we do try to convert people from active to maintenance mode, but just with the full understanding that all it's guaranteeing is that the least links that we have in place will remain in place. It's not guaranteeing any performance up or down. That is only guaranteed when in active mode. Thank you.